We all have those people in our mind. Back in 1979, there was an ad in the Cody Enterprise newspaper. It said there was a meeting in the Bighorn Federal Savings and Loan Basement in Grayville, Wyoming, about a 100-mile endurance ride in the Bighorn Mountains. Well, my husband had just bought me an unbroke 3-year-old Arab. And I had heard a rumor that they were kind of good at long distance. So I thought it would be a neat thing to go and see what this was all about. Well, you know, wise people say that there are those moments in our lives where something happens and it changes the course of your life forever. That night changed mine. I went to that meeting and I met Tom and Arlene Van Gelder. And my life has never been the same since. Back in 1971, a group of people in Grayville, Wyoming heard that there was this thing called the Western States Trail. They heard that there was a big mountain in California where they rode horses over the Sierras in 24 hours. Well, being people from Wyoming, they said they don't have anything we don't have. And so they decided they wanted to learn all about it. And so they found a young racetrack vet, still wet behind the ears, named Dave Nicholson. And they heard that he had ridden this Tevis Cup. So they had him come and talk to them. And sure enough, the next year they put on the first Bighorn 100, which predated the AERC. Yes, and Tom Van Gelder was the first president of the Bighorn 100 Incorporated. And since that date, every single year, except for the year when his wife died, our beloved Arlene, he has been there helping to run the Bighorn 100. I have to tell you a very brief story about the last time Tom Van Gelder and I were here together at the MRER convention. It's been a long time. It's been a long time. And there was a gentleman that some of you may or may not know named Paul Bates. Holly knows. And he and I had kind of been competing throughout the years. He had a fabulous horse. Tom and my husband Keith were at the bar having some drinks, and I was visiting with some of the other endurance riders. And Paul walked up to Tom, and he assumed that my husband Keith was Tom's son. And he said, "Tom, I hope you don't let your son marry that hard-assed woman." And those of you that knew the person understand. Tom has about 2,800 miles of AERC rides. He finished the Bighorn 100 6 times. That's an accomplishment. But that's not really his legacy. His real legacy has been his love of the sport, and in particular, the Bighorn 100 Trail. In the 34 years that I've traveled all over with Tom, everywhere from Baja, Mexico, to Iowa, to California, wherever we went, there is not a stranger he met that he didn't talk about endurance riding, and that he didn't talk about the Bighorn 100 Trail. He's brought more people into our sport than you can imagine. He's loaned them his horses. I myself was lucky enough to have ridden 3 of his great horses. He has been someone who has been faithful to the sport and faithful to all of us. He has stuck with many of us through thick and thin. He's celebrated everyone else's accomplishments. And he's also been with us in defeat and mistakes we've made. always there. And he's the closest thing to a father I've ever had. Please welcome your new Hall of Fame member.
Can you hear me? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay. Half my lifetime has been promoting the 100, and it's been a great time post. All the people I've met, you just can't beat this sport. The people that are in it. Thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
That's okay. Just.
Is that your daddy?
Okay.
That's my daddy.
So some pictures of Tom on the trail. A mule. Tom and his brother Jake driving the team in Iowa. This is a horse man-eater. Trouble Boy. And on Riz, he's on the left. Tom and Cindy on the XP in spring of '84. Riz again. Modifying equipment.
Okay, I got to tell that. It takes just a second. So, I was riding the Bighorn 100. I had my foot broken in 5 places and I was in a cast. Well, the problem was that this was... Yeah. No, that wasn't the problem. The problem was that it was rubbing the heck out of me and I had blood running into my foot. So Tom and our other friend Richard there were modifying my cast. Of course, at the vet check. Now, the reason that they were so intent on this, aside from the fact that I was riding one of Tom's great horses, was that there were bets when they had a Calcutta on whether or not I'd finish. And I did.
The same size to you.
It's a different leg, other leg.
Bighorn Awards.
Yeah, Regina. That's before I had a living quarter trailer, Carla.